Hello everybody, this is the next block on the Advanced Sampler Quilt class. This is the Tangled Star, which I'm hoping you'll enjoy. I've sent you little kits with all the templates and instructions, and I'm hoping that you'll be able to follow them and reproduce this in your own fabrics. You will need to stick your templates onto cardboard and cut out two sets. This is the first set cut out on the second line, and this is the same set but the centres are cut out. I'll explain a little bit more a little bit later on why you need the two sets, but that's the first video in a set to complete the Tangled Star with me. These are my fabrics. The central one is the background, the darker one and the white one with pattern are going to be the Tangled Star. What we need to do now your pieces are cut. I've only cut for 1/4 of the design because it's made up of 4 sections. We need the second pile of templates, and you need to position them, and what we're going to do now is we're going to use a friction pen which will iron off, and you're going to draw round your second template, which is just the middle, and the difference between the two is the seam. Okay, so I've drawn round one, and I'm going to go round them all. Just find your template and pop it onto the reverse and draw around it. I've now put my templates together and put them on one side, and I've turned my A, B and C piece the right way up. I've looked at the picture on the instructions that I've given you. I'm following the left one. Then I'm going to join the A to the B. You pop a pin in each corner and then you stitch across, but do not stitch in the seams, please. That'll help with your pressing later on. Next thing to do is to find your A and your B pieces, and what we're going to do is we're going to join them at this seam here. So if you flip them over, you will see the seam, and the idea is to put a pin through at the very point of the corner there and the reverse point on the other side. So you've got one pin through that, and then it is a little bit fiddly, but you do get used to doing it, and then another pin through this side, and as I'm not drawing it very well on the other side, but as best you can, really, best fit. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to, that's it, you can stretch it a little bit, there's a little bit of give in there. You're going to put a pin in there and you're going to sew between the points. You're not going to sew into the seam. This will help with your pressing later on. You have now is A joined to B. You'll see that it protrudes slightly from the edges, but that doesn't matter, and I haven't sewn into the seam allowance on either side. So that's A and B. We are now going to join it to C. So this is your C piece here, and what we're going to do is we're going to do exactly the same. We're going to get a pin and put it through the corner here between the two sides, and at the back as well. Okay, don't worry if your seam allowance isn't quite right, because this will bring the sides together in the right position. And we need another pin. Grab another pin from this point here to this point here, which I haven't drawn the angle in, but never mind. And once you pull them together, you're going to sew between those lines and obviously not into the seam allowance. You're also going to have E and F, and what you're going to do with them is you're going to use 2 pins, pin them together and stitch E and F together. I just thought this would probably be the easiest way to show you before we move on to the next section. You now have A, B and C joined together, E and F joined together, and what you're going to do is you're going to join the reversed F and the reversed A together, and then they are going to be attached to D, all in the same way. But if you can see, the block is starting to come together. All these are finger pressed, but what you have here is you have 1 section there, 2 sections here, 3 sections here. You're now going to join those 2 sections together in the same way, and then join that whole section to this section, and then you'll have your quarter, and you need to repeat that 3 more times. They're identical quarters. You now have the 2 sections, and they're only finger pressed, they're not pressed with an iron yet. What's going to happen next is this section here is going to be sewn on top of the other half. You will notice that the point there needs to go into that corner, and you stop at that point. Once you've sewn that section to that section, you then pivot this round and finish this section off. If you don't feel confident, you maybe want to do this bit by hand, but it does work, I can promise you. I'm going to go back to the sewing machine now, join that section to start with, and then I'm going to pivot it and join the final section, and then we should have a quarter of